Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Ricky's gonna talk about audio recording stuff, not so much guitar stuff. So, if you don't want to learn about recording, then watch something else. Yeah.
Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. Today, as Tony mentioned, we're talking audio recording. Specifically today, we're talking about the Universal Audio Apollo Solo. Yeah, $700. I would never buy something that expensive. Or would I? Here's the presentation. Why would anyone buy the Universal Audio Apollo Solo? Certainly not me. I would never buy one of these things. That's how I felt a year ago. And yet 1 year later, I did buy one. Why? Well, first, let's start with why not. It's 4 times the cost of the Focusrite 2i2. Most listeners wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's more than double the cost of the Tascam US 16x8, but it's only got 2 channels, and the Tascam has 16. It's not budget gear. You could buy a $700 microphone instead, or a new Epiphone Les Paul. So why would I buy one of these things? Okay, there are 2 problems it solves. And the Solo is the least expensive option for solving the problems. Problem number 1. When professional vocalists record in the recording studio, they're listening to their voice on headphones. They're hearing their voice compressed and with some reverb on it, right? They don't just hear it bone dry. That's like very unsettling. The problem is you can't really do that with something like a Focusrite or a Tascam, okay? So you can set up some reverb and you can sing through reverb, but if you record the reverb, you can't change your mind later. So if you decide that you've got too much reverb, too little reverb, you can't go back and fix it. That's not how the pros operate. And while it is possible to generate compression and reverb on your computer, there aren't too many computers around that can do that without any latency. Because see, if you're a singer, more than 5 milliseconds of latency and you're going to hear it in your headphones and it's going to bother you. You need something with almost no latency. So the first problem is I want to be able to record where I'm hearing compression and reverb in the headphones when I sing, but what I actually record is either nothing, just the dry signal, or maybe just the compression. So the second problem is I want something with really, really good sound quality and something that's super easy and quick to use. Let's look at how I'm currently solving this problem. So currently I got a Rode NT1A going into a Yamaha mixer. Yamaha mixer has a stereo out and it's got a group output. And it's got a 1-knob compressor on it and it's got a built-in reverb unit. So this works out because I can send the dry signal to my Tascam interface into my computer, and I can send the signal with a reverb on it to my headphones. There's a couple of problems with this setup though. One is that I have an inexpensive preamp in the Yamaha mixer going into an inexpensive preamp in the Tascam. So I've got some unnecessary gain staging there that's going to increase hiss and decrease fidelity. Also, the compression isn't very good at all. It's 1 knob. It's like compression, yes or no. And honestly, the reverb that's built into the mixing board, it's not all that good. It's okay. And then finally, if I want to record remotely, I got to drag all this gear around. So it's not very good sound quality. It's complicated to use and it's bulky. It's a pain. With the Apollo Solo, here's the new signal chain. I've got the microphone going into the Solo, going into the computer. I hook the headphones right into the Solo. And the Solo's got a very high quality preamp and analog to digital converter. And when I say very high quality, I mean this is what the pros use. This is definitely professional quality gear. It's extremely portable. And the compression and the reverb that I want to run, instead of running it on the computer or on some crappy mixer, it runs on the CPU on the Solo. So the Solo, you could almost think of it like a mini computer. It's got a CPU in there. And the latency is under 2 milliseconds, which means that mere mortals can't even tell there's any latency at all. So you can record 2 tracks at a time. You could record stereo. They call it the Solo because it has 1 CPU in it, not because you can only record 1 track. So It's really an amazing unit. And this is the biggest reason why this thing costs so much money, because it basically allows you to offload some of your computer CPU and run your effects on your vocals while you're recording, and then you can send whatever you want to the computer. So you can record with compression and reverb, but just send the compressed signal and leave out the reverb. It's perfect. And for under $700, there is no other box available that will do this exact same thing. Not only that, it comes with some of the best plugins in the world. It's also got a bunch of different preamp models. And so with something like the Tascam or a Focusrite, if you don't like the sound of the preamp, well, too bad. In the case of the Apollo Solo, it can simulate several different preamps. It also comes with a Marshall Plexi Classic amp model, and I can't wait to shoot that thing out against the HX Stomp Plexi and see what the differences are. So it's emulating some of the most expensive gear on the planet, and if you were to actually go buy the real versions of this vintage gear, you'd be dropping 125 grand. These days, little boxes rule the home recording world and even the pro studio world. So the box on the left, the Solo, replaces 125 grand worth of best-in-class recording studio mixers and effects. The box on the right is the HX Stomp. That replaces 125 grand worth of expensive amps, cabinets, and effects. That's $250,000 worth of emulation there for $1,300. Let me say that again, $250,000 worth of gear for $1,300. Yeah, that is definitely budget friendly. And now, the unboxing. Okay, so you see the problem I'm trying to solve here, right? And you see where my mindset is at. It took me an entire year to decide to buy this thing, and it took me about 6 months worth of setting aside a little money here and a little money there, living on a budget as I do, to be able to afford something like this. Also, Christmas came just a little bit early. Santa Claus went to Amazon. So now we're gonna unbox this thing. Spoiler alert, this doesn't come with a Thunderbolt 3 cable. And Universal Audio said, well, we don't know how long of a cable length somebody might want. Considering that it's about 35 bucks for 2 feet, I would say any cable length would be fine. I've got a cable on order, it's not here yet. But that's fine, because today's video, that's just about the reason that I spent the money on this thing and also the unboxing. So what happens? If you get it from Amazon, it shows up like this on your doorstep. And then in a previous unboxing video, somebody asked me, why are you doing an unboxing video? Only weird people like those. And I said, I did it so that the weird people would have something to watch. Oh, look at this packaging. I'm gonna move the camera closer. You want me to? Hang on. How's that? Okay, so let's open this thing up. On the cover, we got that, and then we got a nice picture here, and on the back, it's got what it looks like, right? The ports, so to speak. Pretty cool. Apollo Solo. I'll tell you what, Universal Audio knows how to package stuff. This is really slick. This is like an Apple product. Not only that, but this isn't just some crappy cardboard box. I will definitely keep this box to transport this thing in. This is beautiful. This unit has got some heft to it. Okay, so we've got the big knob, we've got all the buttons, we've got a plastic covering here, which I will go ahead and peel off. And then we've got another one over here. Marvelous. It's like brushed aluminum. Has some heft to it. On the front, we have got our headphone jack and we've got our guitar input. And then on the back is our Thunderbolt 3, which is that provides power and audio, right? We've got our matching outputs and we've got our inputs, and this will be XLR or regular 1/4 inch. So about what you would expect. Yup, this is really slick. The bottom is kind of this rubberized surface, which is nice so it won't move around. Then also in the box, we've got some goodies, right? We've got a really high quality printed booklet, which probably serves as an instruction manual and also a sales manual so that you could look at all the other stuff you can't afford. An interesting thing about the Apollo Solo, though, with the Thunderbolt, what you can actually do if you want to is you can buy additional channels and add it onto here. So if I ever wanted to expand this so that I could record 16 or more tracks, I could simply buy another module, connect them together with Thunderbolt 3, and I'd be good to go. All I would need is about $3,500. Not going to happen. Anyway, so this is going to be the directions. And yeah, it's got descriptions of plugins and other products that they have. This is really slick. Very high quality as you would expect. Here's the thing you're not supposed to eat. And then we've got a getting started. This is thick. This is like thick cardboard. It's got a couple of nerds on the back from like a long time ago. And you can tell they're nerds because they have the white shirts and the ties, and this guy's got glasses, and they got some kind of cords here, so very nerdy. And then here this tells you you're supposed to go to the website and register. You put in your serial number. You can download software. So just like the HX Stomp, what you do is you install software on your computer, which helps to control this bad boy. And I am very excited about getting this whole setup. This is definitely sort of extravagant for me. It's about $100 more than the HX Stomp was, but this thing will last me, I don't know, a decade more. This is high enough quality that I would never need to upgrade. So buy once, cry once, but most importantly, it's going to solve my two problems. I'm very anxious to record with this thing, and I'm also really anxious, as I think I said in the presentation, I'm really anxious to check out the Marshall Plexi in here and shoot it out against the HX Stomp. I think that will be a really cool experiment. So I know today's kind of a weird video, but this channel is about doing all things music on a budget, and recording is one of those things. And so if you're not interested, hey, you didn't make it this far in the video, so I'm talking to the people who actually are interested. So for those people who are still watching, thank you very much for watching. I can't really tell you what next week's video is going to be. It might be about how to set this thing up. It might be about a demonstration of how cool it is. Or it might be a shootout of the Plexi in here versus the Plexi in the HX Stomp. Where's my HX Stomp? Oh, it's back here. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Anyway, again, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next Friday at 5.